Alright, in this video we will dive into how to actually synchronize Reason easily with all your outboard gear that need MIDI sync, and also how to use in general how to use external gear with your Reason. I will focus on synthesizers, MIDI and audio routing, so that's pretty much it in this video. In case you actually have found out that you would like to subscribe for Reason 14 and you kind of start to like it, there is a link below that gives you 20% off from the Reason. So by clicking the link you can then get a good deal out of Reason if you are into it. Anyway, in this video let's get going with the external gear and how to synchronize your MIDI with Reason. Alright, as you can see from my video, I have a lot of outboard gear around me. So I have few synths and drum machines and whatnot. And of course, in order to make something great, you need to synchronize everything with Reason's clock and get them synchronized to the beat. How do you do that in Reason is that that's actually, and that has been in Reason for a while, and this is not something new in Reason 14, but I thought that actually I discovered a new way to do it in a better way, so that you don't actually need necessarily cables. You can actually do everything in box for that, and what that means that you need to open the audio MIDI app. So when you have in Mac, you have the audio MIDI setup, and there actually you need to create a new device. So you go over here and you click a plus, and then you get this new external device. And then for that device, you actually then go and I'll delete this because I have already done. I don't need it. But you actually then from MioXL, which is the kind of from my MIDI out device, I have taken from DIN 3. I have taken the MIDI out to this device, and then from this device, which is actually a virtual device, I'm actually taking the MIDI in to Juno, to OBX, TR8S, and Muse. And why I do this is that I have those linked with not through MIDI cables but through USB MIDI, and so other than that it would be kind of impossible to do. So because then for Minimoog and DX7 I have the MIDI cables going in, so they get automatically synchronized through MioXL. However, then the Junos and OBXs and those that are with USB, they don't. So this is a trick that you can do in Mac, so that you route it in here, and then from there you route it into all the devices that you need to sync with your MIDI clock, and that's it. This is the kind of, I think, the aha moment for me when I did this, that this is actually a pretty convenient way to synchronize all these easily, specifically with Reason, because in Reason you don't have many channels into which you can actually send MIDI clock. So in that case, if you go into the settings and then let's open it up, then in settings you have this sync section, and in a sync section you only have a sync output port. You have one port that you can select to send the clock out from Reason. In other digital audio workstations you basically set it by MIDI port that goes out, but here you only have one option. So that's why I did, so that in this case in the MioXL DIN 3 is the port into which I sent the clock out of Reason, and then from there it gets distributed everywhere. I have actually set up the MioXL so that that specific port will actually broadcast the port. Sorry, that specific port will, within that MioXL, will broadcast the MIDI clock to all MIDI outlets in that device. And then you saw what I did with audio MIDI device management in Mac in just a few minutes back. So this will now enable me to kind of run all the export like audio external audio gear in sync. And then of course if I now solo this, this is just an example on Muse that basically now will just of course play this bass, but it gets synchronized. I don't have any other audio in this section, but then I could go into the Muse and Muse gets synchronized and so on and so forth. Then in general, what I did in 14 and what I found easy, peasy and nice is that I can create out of my external synthesizers, I can create these folders into which I put a MIDI channel that sends MIDI to let's open the rack, that sends MIDI out to the synthesizer, and then I have the audio track there in the same folder where I have basically the audio coming in. And now if I go and look the same thing with Muse, so there I also have it similarly. So I have the MIDI going out the Moog Muse, and then of course the audio is coming in stereo into from Moog Muse, and yeah, but and of course you can apply this to any of your external gear. So the same pattern is there. So you need a channel that you send out the MIDI, and then you need the audio that brings the audio back, and then you can put them into the folders. And like I have here, and then I have also a recorded bass track that I'm just kind of having there as next to the real instruments. Similarly, I have here another bass audio that is in tandem playing with Moog. So now when I let's actually go here and solo the, I guess I have solo somewhere. Let's see, from the mixer. Yeah, I had this soloed already. So come on, let's close the mixer. Sorry. So now if I go here and I solo this, you hear both basses playing in tandem, but then I can also go here and mute this. So now you only hear Muse playing, but then now you hear them together. And then here I have basically my channel for that, that basically has a SSL channel, pull deck, some EQ, and then sidechain for kick. Anyway, that's basically about synchronizing the MIDI clock in the most convenient way with Reason 14 in Mac. Alright, so that was it regarding on Reason 14 and how to synchronize your external gear with Reason using one synced channel, MIDI channel. You need to do a bit tricks over there, but I think this trick was quite easy to do, and the outcome was that all my external gear is synchronized with Reason MIDI clock, even though Reason is capable of sending only one into one MIDI port the clock altogether. Hopefully you liked the video, hopefully you liked the tip, and remember to subscribe for the channel for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye now.